therapy session with Dr. Isaiah Friedlander, Michael was left feeling conflicted. The therapist had revealed his true colors, using Michael's personal struggles for his own gain. As Dr. Friedlander made his escape from town, Michael was faced with a difficult decision. With a heavy heart, Michael chose to spare Drive Friedlander's life. He knew that taking revenge would only lead to more pain and regret. As he called Amanda to explain the situation, he braced himself for her reaction. Amanda was shocked and angry at first, but as Michael explained his decision, she began to understand. She knew that Michael was trying to change, to become a better person. She wished him luck in finding a new therapist, hoping that he would continue on the path to redemption. As Michael hung up the phone, he felt a sense of relief. He had made the right choice, proving to himself and others that he was capable of change. With a renewed sense of purpose, he set out to make amends for his past mistakes and become the man he knew he could be. After the intense therapy session with Dr. Isaiah Friedlander, Michael was left feeling conflicted. The therapist had revealed his true colors, using Michael's personal struggles for his own gain. As Dr. Friedlander made his way out of town, Michael had a decision to make, to seek revenge or to let go of his anger. In a moment of rage, Michael chose to take matters into his own hands and ended Drive Friedlander's life. The act left him feeling a mix of emotions, relief, guilt, and a sense of finality. He knew that this decision would have consequences, especially with his family. Calling Amanda, Michael explained what had happened. Amanda was shocked and appalled by his actions, calling him a monster and expressing regret for ever coming back to him. She wished for him to be arrested and to rot in prison, showing that Michael had not fully redeemed himself in her eyes. On the other hand, if Michael had chosen to spare Drive Friedlander, he called Amanda to explain the situation. Surprisingly, Amanda understood his decision and wished him luck in finding a new therapist. This showed that Michael was on a path to redemption, making amends for his past mistakes and striving to become a better person. As Michael reflected on his actions, he knew that he still had a long way to go in his journey towards self-improvement. But with Amanda's support and understanding, he felt hopeful that he could finally leave his troubled past behind and move towards a brighter future.
For hours on end, poring over his exam papers until his eyes grew heavy and his mind grew weary. He couldn't shake the feeling that the exam papers were somehow responsible for the unusual events happening at a cosmic scale. So, one night, in a fit of frustration, he knelt down and prayed to a higher power, asking for a wish to be fulfilled. The next morning, Abdullah woke to a world turned upside down. In the sky above, a never-ending, massively destructive shockwave-inducing universe-sized animated holographic battle was raging. Arkham Batman and Insomniac Spider-Man were locked in a fierce battle, their larger-than-life form flashing in a universe-sized hologram that lit up the sky. People all around Abdullah were in a state of shock and disbelief. They felt betrayed by the exam papers, as if they had somehow summoned this chaotic battle into existence. In a fit of rage, they began burning the exam papers, hoping for an end to the destruction unfolding before their eyes. As the flames consumed the papers, the battle in the sky began to diminish. The universe-sized hologram flickered and faded, until all that was left was a sense of calm and relief. The people looked around at each other, realizing that they had been united in their fight against a common enemy. Abdullah watched as the last embers of the exam papers burned away, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. The world may have been thrown into chaos, but through it all, he had learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes, the answer we seek can only be found by letting go of the past and embracing the unknown. And so, as the sun rose on a new day, Abdullah stood tall, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle may have been won, but the war was far from over. And he was determined to face it head-on, armed with the knowledge that sometimes the most unexpected events can lead to the greatest discoveries. Abdullah had always been a diligent student, but the pressure of exams was starting to take its toll on him. Night after night, he pored over his textbooks and exam papers, feeling more and more exhausted with each passing day. One night, as he sat at his desk, surrounded by piles of papers, he couldn't take it anymore. He closed his eyes and whispered a desperate plea to the heavens. God, if these exam papers are responsible for all the unusual events happening at a cosmic scale, please show me a sign. I wish for this burden to be lifted from my shoulders. As Abdullah drifted off to sleep, little did he know that his wish would be granted in the most unexpected way. When he woke up the next morning, the world around him had changed. In the sky above, a never-ending, massively destructive shockwave-inducing universe-sized animated holographic battle was raging between Arkham Batman and Insomniac Spider-Man. The people around Abdullah were in shock and disbelief. They felt betrayed by the exam papers that had caused such chaos. In a fit of rage, they started burning papers, hoping for an end to the madness. As the flames consumed the papers, the battle in the sky began to diminish until finally it faded away completely. Abdullah watched in awe as the world returned to normalcy. The people around him cheered, grateful that the nightmare was finally over. As he looked at the ashes of the exam papers, he couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. The burden that had weighed him down for so long was gone, and he was free to live his life without the constant pressure of exams. From that day on, Abdullah vowed to never let himself be consumed by the stress of exams again. He had seen firsthand the destructive power they held, and he knew that he never wanted to experience anything like that again. As he walked away from burning papers, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. The battle may have been epic, but he was grateful that it was finally over. Abdullah had always been a diligent student, but the pressure of exams was starting to take its toll on him. Night after night, he pored over his textbooks and exam papers, feeling more and more exhausted with each passing day. One night, as he sat at his desk, surrounded by piles of papers, he couldn't take it anymore. He closed his eyes and whispered a desperate plea to the heavens. God, if these exam papers are responsible for all the unusual events happening at a cosmic scale, please grant my wish and reveal the truth to me. The next morning, Abdullah woke up to a world that was unlike anything he had ever seen before. In the sky above him, a never-ending, massively destructive shockwave-inducing universe-sized animated holographic battle was raging on. It was a battle between Arkham Batman and Insomniac Spider-Man, both larger than life and more powerful than anything Abdullah had ever imagined. As people around him watched in awe and fear, Abdullah realized that his wish had been granted. The exam papers were indeed responsible for the chaos that had engulfed the world. Feeling betrayed by the very papers that had caused him so much stress, Abdullah knew that something had to be done. Without hesitation, he gathered all the exam papers he could find and set them ablaze. As the flames consumed the papers, the battle in the sky began to diminish. The shockwaves grew weaker, and the destructive force of the holographic battle started to fade away. As the last of the papers turned to ash, the world around Abdullah began to return to normal. The sky cleared, and people around him let out a collective sigh of relief. The battle was over, and peace had been restored. From that day on, Abdullah vowed never to let the pressures of exams control him again. He had seen firsthand the destructive power of stress and knew that he had the strength to overcome it. And as he looked up at the now clear sky, he knew that he was ready to face whatever challenges came his way, armed with the knowledge that he could conquer anything that stood in his path.